So we're just about to go into the ice mine. Do you have anything to say?
Well, a fun fact about the ice mine is actually it was while they were searching for silver, they found the ice mine.
That's pretty awesome. I heard it's like 32 degrees in there all the time.
Yeah, and supposedly it's 30 feet deep.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I can't wait to go in.
Yeah.
Alright, I think what I'll probably do is explain the history to everyone out here, and then I'll bring like 2 groups in at a time so we're not all crammed in there. Alrighty, well welcome to the ice mine, everyone. My name's Cameron, I'll be your guys' tour guide. Now before we go on in there, I'm going to explain the history of the ice mine out here just because it's a lot warmer. And then once we go in there, that's when I'll explain the science behind it, and basically what we think is going on here. So the history of the ice mine takes us all the way back to the late 1800s, when a man by the name of Billy O'Neill was at a trading post. Now, Billy O'Neill happened to be a pretty unique man. He believed that divine rods could detect silver, and he even lost an eye during the Civil War to a piece of shrapnel. However, one day when Billy was at this trading post, a Native American walked in with a big bag of silver, because back then, silver's what they used as a currency. Well, this Native American did not have enough silver for trade, so he just simply said that he'd be coming back with some more. Well, Billy O'Neill actually saw this as an opportunity to follow the Native American to see where they were getting all of their silver from. So Billy did just that, and he followed this Native American through these very woods until eventually he lost track of him right around this area. But Billy decided that he was going to look for silver here anyways. So he got one of his buddies and some divine rods, and together the two of them hit this spot right here behind me. Now, as they were digging, they did find a little bit of ice, but they didn't think much of it because it was the winter time. However, it was pretty cold out and all that ice was tough to get through. So they just decided that they would come back in the springtime when it would be a bit warmer. Well, when they did come back in the springtime to this hole that they had dug, they couldn't believe it, but it was completely full of ice. They didn't know what to do, and they got really frustrated because they never found any silver, so eventually they just completely abandoned the project, and now the ice mine's been here for over 130 years. So now I'd like to show everyone this graph. So just a handful of years ago, we had some geologists come out from the University of Pennsylvania, and they put these thermometers down in the bottom of the mine, and then they gave us this graph, and this graph just shows us the temperature throughout the entire year. So we're starting right here in the summertime, and as you can see throughout the summer, the temperature stays pretty consistent. But once we get to the winter months, that's when the temperature significantly drops. However, throughout the entire winter, we do not have any ice. Until we get to the spring, when you see the temperature starts to rise, that is actually when the ice is reforming. And then once again, we'll get back to the summertime, where it'll slowly melt throughout the summer, until around October is when we no longer have any ice left. So I think what I'll do is I'll take this group and this group in, and then I'll be right back out for everyone else. And feel free to walk all the way up to the ice. I just ask you don't step on it.
Okay.
Dug that I was talking about out there. Those two guys dug all the way from the surface there down to the bottom of the shaft, which is a total of about 35 feet. And there's actually no evidence that they blew it up, so we truly think those two guys dug this by hand.
Wow. That is so cool, huh, Aiden? What do you think?
That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
And as far as why the ice actually forms, that's the really neat thing about this place. To this day, it's still technically a mystery. And the reason for that is this is actually the only one in the world that's fully open like this. So when we have geologists here, they can't 100% prove anything that they've come up with because they can't replicate it. But these geologists have given us a pretty good theory that we like to tell people. And basically they think that because of Potter County's big rocks and crevices, they think that during the wintertime, a bunch of cold air actually gets trapped in this 2-mile-long mountain. And then they think that when springtime hits and all that warm air comes out, they think that that warm air is forcing all the cold air back out of the mountain, which is why it's so cold in here. So basically they think the ice is a mixture of all that cold air coming out of the mountain and then moisture rising up out of the shaft during the springtime. And there's no water source that leads to this. The ice is completely made from moisture in the air, which is actually why the geologists think that there's no ice during the wintertime, because you don't have that moisture. And if you look down on that post there that's holding up the platform, you might be able to...
That's pretty cool.
So cool.
Pretty awesome. Ready?
Next time we have to put socks and a hoodie on because it was freezing cold in there.
Yeah, it was pretty cold. We had a fun trip. We hope you guys did too. We'll see you later. He's on the other side.